Bang. Rang. Ah, shit, I gotta search it up now real quick. I just need an A. Alright, now let's do this little countdown again. I gotta write this shit down. Alright. Now in 3, 2, 1. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the feed. If you are a returning viewer, you are indeed one sexy motherfucker. But we're getting into this right away into the Call of Duty RosterMania that's been going on. Now, I know I didn't really talk about it last week, but a lot of big news went down that Optic is parting ways with NRG, so that means that they're going to have to find a new big brand, basically, to get a lot of funding from, it seems like, because that's what they stayed with NRG for. So there's a lot of rumors that they might be pairing up with Envy, which is the parent company of Dallas Empire. So there's a lot of exciting things coming with that. So if that actually goes down, definitely would like to see the roster that would happen. I think the rumor now is for the team that it's going to be Scump, Dashy, Shotzi, and Illy, which is an absolute beast of a roster. But, these are all rumored rosters right now. I think there's only like 1 or 2, maybe 3 confirmed rosters. I have a thing up on my of what all of the rosters are rumored as. So let's start out. We have the Dallas Empire Optic news, obviously. There's nothing really confirmed with that yet. It's just a rumor that Optic might be going there. And if Optic went there, that means that they would go to Dallas. They would sell the Optic spot in Chicago. So that means that there's a whole new roster and whole new organization that would be over there. And you have the whole thing of, does it stay Dallas Empire? Does it change to Optic? Most likely changing to Optic just because of marketing purposes and the big following. So there's a lot of things that are happening in this offseason, to say the least. Now, is the game going to be good? I don't know, but we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about LAG. They released their roster today. This is confirmed from the Los Angeles Gorillas Twitter account, all right? We've got Slasher, we've got Gunless, we've got Asim, and we've got Hook, which isn't a bad roster, honestly. You've got Asim and Hook as your SMGs. You've got Gunless and Slasher as your ARs. And, I mean, it's a nasty roster, in my opinion. Asim is definitely more of the OBJ, do the dirty rotation type of player. So, if you and it seems like he's a very important role on a team. He can do a lot. And you see that when subliners didn't have him when he didn't have his visa for Major 5 or Major 4, I believe. But another thing I think is Slasher and Gunless have been very inconsistent, to say the least. There's a lot of more nitpicking I'm sure people have done over those two. But, I mean, Slasher didn't do too well on LA Thieves, and Gunless, I think he was on Florida Mutineers, but I could be wrong about that. And they obviously didn't do too well. I could be I'm pretty sure he was on Florida. I might have the update on that of who Florida released. But the first really confirmed roster, other than FaZe most likely staying, and I think maybe Rocker and Ultra might be staying as a team. But once again, other than the LAG one, the rest of these are basically all rumors. I think it's really 100% that FaZe is sticking together. But once again, with supposedly a lot of back behind the scenes conversations and what people know that the public doesn't, it's been pretty crazy. So I don't know if a lot more big moves are going to happen like this Optic one, but who knows? Now, this isn't really confirmed really at all, but Phil or @Willet on Twitter put his bio as head coach of @Mutineers, so that could be a new coach for Florida, which could be good. I don't even really know who their coach was last year. But, if they're getting a new coach, hopefully that means that they're going to be really restructuring the roster, which I think the team does need in general. And then moving on to the next one, we've got LA Thieves. This is some LA Thieves news. Now, I think that they dropped the whole roster. Obviously, Slasher isn't on there. Kenny, I think, actually might be the only one who's staying. So, I actually could be wrong there. I don't. I could go on his Twitter right now, but I want to just keep things where I'm focusing, which is Envoy and Octane are looking to possibly go over there. That's big rumors in the scene right now. So that could happen. That could not happen. I just noticed I didn't change the stream shit, so I'm gonna actually change that real quick. It doesn't take me that long. But we are streaming the podcast on twitch.tv/hoops_KJ. The feed number 5. Let's get this shit going, baby. I can't believe I didn't get fully set. It is 11 o'clock at night on Monday evening. Hopefully everyone had a great Labor Day weekend. I mean, I've just been playing a lot of League of Legends lately. We're gonna get back to the COD shit, but I think that this weekend was definitely a transition period for me. I can't see the chat. Oh no, that's the old chat. Never mind. But I think this weekend I really noticed that Warzone right now is just not the game that I want to stream. I just do not enjoy playing it. I think it's a real long and agonizing time playing the game, in my opinion. Going into it knowing that you're probably going to run into a hacker. There's more than a 50% chance there's going to be a hacker in your lobby. So right off the bat, you're not going to win. And then just a lot of the stuff that the main map that's being used, no one really likes. So everyone's playing Rebirth, and Rebirth is just a clusterfuck. And to add the hackers into that, it's just that it's more OP for them because they can just aimbot from anywhere because all 60 people are super close to each other. Hopefully the audio is okay for the podcast. I am finagling with things here and there, but to get back onto this roster mania, we have got Octane and Envoy possibly going to LA Thieves, which I like. If Kenny's still on the team, that could be something. But I want to add this about Kenny real quick, that not everybody really thinks that, or not everybody really saw him use an SMG back in the day. And I think he was way better with that than an AR, in my opinion. If he wants to run an AR, let the boy run an AR. That's what he wants to use. But moving on, we've got Subliners news. They obviously dropped a seam. Clayster is on the team, I'm pretty sure. He's still staying. And then Crim6 is rumored to possibly go over there with possibly also Neptune. That could be a big move. I think that that'd be a really stacked team, especially because Neptune's been going off this past season. So you don't know with a lot of these things. You hear a lot of the people behind the scenes talk about how things are changing every day. One person could be talking to this team, and then another person on that team is talking to somebody else. So the people already on that team are actually looking at someone completely different by the next day. And that's just how apparently these things go. Now, I'm obviously not behind the scenes. I'm just a guy in a fucking basement talking about this shit from the outside looking in. But, I think a lot of people, number one, feed into the bait, and two, just don't understand how these roster things work, especially when the contracts and the 1+1 is what they're called, I believe. And it's basically a 1 year guaranteed, and then you have to decide if you're going to be signing the next year or something along the lines of that. I could most likely be very wrong with that. But you don't know. You don't know. Then we've got Toronto Ultra expected to stick together possibly. LA Gorillas we talked about. Now, this one could be interesting for the I cannot fucking talk today. For the London Royal Ravens, this could be interesting if Zero, Nassel, and Gizmo. Now, I haven't heard of Nasty. I'm sorry. Nasty and Gizmo. I've heard of Nasty and Challengers. Haven't heard of Gizmo at all. But if they come up from Challengers, that could be news for other teams if they're looking at Challengers or not. Now, if teams aren't looking at Challengers, it makes me think, what's the point of Challengers? And it's almost like a waste of time. I know the top people in Challengers, like Parasite and people similar, or people have won it like 3 or 4 times, and I don't know their gamer tags exactly. but they're not even being looked at apparently, or may not even being in talks with teams at all, which would be really unfortunate because you put so much time in thinking, or the end goal being you get on a roster, and having that end goal not work out obviously isn't nice. It's not very motivating to keep on playing. Now, apparently there's some news that Dead Silence is going to be a field upgrade, which for me is big because it just ruins the competitive part of the game. It makes me think that they're not thinking about it or listening to what any of the competitive scene has been talking about when it comes to competitive, and how especially Dead Silence need to stay as a perk. And it was in Cold War. Sorry for that bang. Reaching for a water real quick. But it makes me just think that the game's not going to be good or be fully developed or towards competitive, which by this point, if it's not, the CDL franchise is not going to be around for the next 2 years. If not, it falls to this year, which is unfortunate because I'm a big fan of it. I'm making a podcast basically completely around it, and I would love to see it actually stick around, but if it doesn't, then I think it's completely Activision's fault. But there's nothing I can fucking do about that shit. So, we move on to basically just what I've been doing this weekend, which is playing a lot of League of Legends. I've been grinding that game literally 5 to 6 hours a day, probably. And, Warzone in between, maybe a little bit of Minecraft I've started to play. But in my opinion, I just enjoy the game a lot better. Number one, the competitive part of it, you can notice even in the pubs. Like, if you have stupid teammates, it's so obvious that they're feeding. And I'm definitely getting used to it. I used to play League of Legends literally back in like 2013, 2014. I don't remember the exact year I started, but I remember that was one of the first games I started playing. It was like my first PC game. You could probably say that I actually started playing that was only for PC, that you couldn't play on Xbox or on PlayStation or any other console that I don't think there really is. But it was a game that I had never been introduced to, didn't know anything about. Like, I literally had never played a game where a character had an ultimate. A fucking ultimate, which you look at Overwatch, I started playing that. I was like, oh, it has an ultimate. These abilities, the type of abilities, the QWER, it's basically the same. Everyone has three abilities that recharge, and then your big one that takes a long time to recharge. And there's characters in between that have an ultimate that's not long charge and whatnot. But to play a game that I played 7 years ago that sticks around, that's way bigger than it was, it's just really fun to me, in my opinion. I have a lot to regain and a lot to learn. There's still so much things that they've added. Like, there's things that you can spawn in on the map. And for those of you that don't know League of Legends, there's 3 lanes, about 6 turrets. I'll say like 2 turrets per lane. And you want to destroy the turrets, then get to the inhibitor. And then after you get the inhibitor, you get to the nexus. And once you destroy the nexus, the game's over. 5v5. And there's like just these new things that they added all over the map that it's easier to destroy turrets now with certain things, and the jungle seems way more important now and a lot more focused on in respawning and whatnot. And it might have even been like that when I played 7 years ago. But to even think it was 7 years ago, and I've played like a little bit, very, very little bit. Like, I'm talking maybe 3 games in between that 7 years, but there's so much that they've added. I didn't even have it downloaded on this current computer that I have now, which I've had for at least a year. I had it all year last year, which I think is when I got it, or why I got it, because my laptop broke. It might have even been 2 years now that I've had this computer. It might have been once I moved into my apartment. But crazy to think about how I haven't played the game in a while, and I'm literally just falling in love with it, and playing it for the same reasons that I think I started playing in the first time. And almost it's like I started playing League of Legends 2013, 2014, and then I'm pretty sure Advanced Warfare came out that year, 2015. And I think I just gained a lot of competitive thinking from playing that game in general, and it really just opens your eyes to a whole new different way of playing video games that I don't think a lot of people are used to or even know about. I think a lot of people are used to the first person shooters, at least in America, I would say. I would say the League of Legends games are definitely bigger over in Asian countries, European countries. It's relatively big here, but I know the players from there were always better than NA players. NA players usually would always get smashed by them. I think the only good team from NA was like TSM back in the day, maybe Team Liquid, but Team Liquid wasn't even like that big back then. I remember they had a COD team back in AW, I believe, and definitely wasn't that good. Definitely wasn't the best. But I've been grinding that game like I haven't grinded a game in a while. I've played a little bit of F1 here and there. Lost the feeling in that game pretty easily. I was grinding Cold War pubs, but that fell off real quick when there was just a whole bunch of shit that I didn't feel like dealing with it with the game. I enjoy the league play part, but again, it's like I started playing late. Everyone's already ranked 30, and there's no better ranking system. So it's just grinding of league play. Like there's no actual real ranking system in the game to show who the good people are, in my opinion, which it's just sad to see for me because you're losing a player, a small streamer that could possibly grow the game a little bit, and I'm just not about it. I'd much rather play League of Legends right now. I'm trying to think of any other games that I've been grinding. I enjoy I didn't play that much Among Us. I think I talked about it on the last podcast with Dylan. We were playing like 9, 10 person lobby Among Us games, and that was actually really fun. I didn't play that much at all when it first came out, and literally just game after game after game all the way up until like 12 o'clock on the weekends. I didn't even notice, and that's when you really know you're enjoying the game. What's going on, Dylan? How you doing, homie? Are you actually on, bro? What did you say? Called you, motherfucker? Not League, bro. It's all about League. I didn't even notice that you called me. My phone was down, and my fucking ringer is off. Might be, homie. Yeah, I did start the podcast like 20, 30 minutes ago, though. But, we going, we going. What are you looking for in the competitive scene for COD, if you're still around? Because supposedly field upgrades are definitely gonna involve dead silence, which isn't good, isn't good. Dude, I need my fucking glasses. They're actually right here. Oh god, all the bottles on the ground. I can't read the chat for shit though when I'm far away. Was trying to play some Cold War, not gonna lie. Maybe after this. I do have to do all the editing. Probably not, though. I'm pretty fucking tired, but I was at my girls playing Jenga. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Jenga, dude. I haven't played that game in a minute. You don't like field upgrades at all? Neither do I. It's like a little bit on specialist. Like it's a super toned down thing of specialist. But I think if they used field upgrades to where it was like they added a support attack, like an entry frag type of position for a field upgrade, that'd be way better. Like only certain people can use nades, only certain people can use stuns, only certain people can use trophies. I think that would be a lot different. A lot different. You have to make them more useful for competitive. They just make it use stopping power rounds for casual. Like no one cares about that shit, bro. I don't like it. It just makes me not think Vanguard's going to be good, in my opinion. If they had roles like League of Legends, I was just playing that shit today. You have to pick your role. Each individual player has to pick their role. Daddy needs to be a perk. Bro, it's rumored by multiple people now on Twitter I've seen that it's going to be a field upgrade. I guarantee, bro, it's going to be a reskinned Modern Warfare. Other than the fact that the setting is going to be World War II, it's going to be a field upgrade, guaranteed. Guaranteed. And the mini map is supposedly not going to be showing red dots. I know I just bring League out of my ass, bro. Bro, it's a good game. I'm telling you. I was talking about it before. That's honestly, I think, where I got my competitive playing. Because right before I started playing AW and got real into the competitive scene there, I was playing a lot of League. But hey, that's just me. I'm just saying. Shout out to Dylan coming through on the stream. You've seen him on the podcast. You're seeing him in the stream. Come and look at the stream if you're not or if you're actually up late at night on Monday or Tuesday nights. That's when I usually record these. Twitch.tv/hoops_KJ. But again with Labor Day weekend on Saturday, I think it was. Yeah, it definitely was Saturday because that's when it was clear skies. Jupiter was fucking out, and oh my god, I got the fucking telescope that's behind the camera right now out, and there's a picture on my Instagram, and literally just jaw dropping, bro. I don't even know how to explain it. Like literally, there was a bright ass light out in the sky. We were like, damn, that's a bright ass star. And then I don't know how my buddy figured it out, but he said, dude, that's Jupiter. I guess he Googled it or something. But, shit was fucking whack. Because right after he said that, I noticed that it was pretty clear out. So I was like, dude, let's grab the telescope. We'll try and get that shit to work. Because I've had this telescope for fucking 10 years almost. And I used it only once before to like look at the moon. And I remember that being pretty cool. And dude, we got this shit out. And the picture does no justice what it actually looked like through the telescope. Because you just see this big light, basically this circle light, and then these two small circles to the right, perfectly unified away, like so evenly away from the planet. And then on the left side, the same thing, but there was only one. And I'm pretty sure those were Jupiter's three moons, is what we ended up figuring out. But you also see like a little fade in the middle of it, which we believe were the rings. And it was just crazy to see like a planet that far away and you can see it through a fucking telescope, and it just, oh my god, like dude, the universe we fucking live in. The universe we fucking live in is wild. Fucking wild. And especially the technology we have. I in my backyard can grab a 10-year-old telescope that probably cost like maybe $500 back in the day, and just pop it out at 9:30 at night, look through the fucking shit, and bang, you see a fucking planet. Now it wasn't you see it like you see in a fucking science school book in elementary school. It wasn't like that. Like, once again, if you go on my Instagram, it's a lot better understanding of what you see through the telescope, and the brightness of the planet is definitely a little different through an iPhone camera looking through a telescope. But nonetheless, I think that shit is dope as fuck. Like, I literally just want to do it again. I just want to use this telescope so much more now. And it's even like a little broken, like the legs on it are a little fucked, but I don't give a shit. I use what I got. It really wants me to get like a real nice fucking telescope just so I can have it bang bang tip top shape. Because it is a little annoying using this old one and trying to get the actual planet into like the telescope's vision, which is a whole nother hard thing that people I don't think understand to actually do. At least with like a backyard telescope that you have in your basement and shit. But it was a dope ass week, and I think that once again, I'm just gonna bring more League of Legends into this stream. So if any of you guys watch it, if any of you guys like it, comment down below. And let me know where you guys listen to it, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, anything. Hit me up on Instagram. Let me know what you want to talk about. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday coming at you guys with a new fucking podcast. And to get into the Warzone thing again, I just don't see how they revive the game, because it's definitely dying. You have all the streamers going away and playing other battle royales, other games, and I just don't think it's gonna last. Honestly, like there's only one way it does, and that's if World War II somehow like reskins the game or something. Bro, you need to start playing League of Legends with me, bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It's such a fun game, and it's so strategic, and like grind it. Nah, Apex. I'm not a big battle royale guy. Like in general, I was never a fan of Fortnite that much. Never a big fan of PUBG, H1, all the OGs. If you're not gonna play League, I get it, but don't come to me and say you don't know what to play because I'm telling like it just takes like getting to know the game. If you go on now, I'll play it. I'll download it right now. I can't right now, homie. I'm doing the podcast. I'm 25 minutes in. I still got to get another 40 going. But download it now and we'll play it tomorrow. Like playing bots, that's what you have to start to do. You have to play bots, learn the game, learn the player you like, and then grind that player for a bit. Actually learn the abilities, learn how the game's played. Like it's not a game you can just pick up and be good at. I can guarantee you that. But it's definitely a fun and toxic game for sure. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people can be annoying. I'm just saying, like I'm gonna be grinding League. I can tell you now, bro. I'll grind League probably all week this week for 5 to 6 hours because it's like me playing a new COD almost. I just want to grind the game. I want to get good at it. I played it before. I got to I'd say I didn't get to ranked. I think I just got right before ranked, but I'd say I would be mid. I would be a mid player if I actually kept on playing. I wasn't going to be like the best of the best, but the people I played with definitely rose me up a lot faster because if you play with better people, they're going to be playing harder people. So you play against those harder people in those games with your good friends. You play a little bit by yourself, you smack those bulls because you've been playing these good people that know exactly how to play the game. And it's just like people got to realize how the skill you're going up against and then how your skill is improving. And I don't think a lot of people really notice that, but I keep that shit on track all the time. I'm like, all right, I played this game pretty decent. All right, I fed this game a lot. There's the games you do good, the games you do bad. But in my opinion, League of Legends literally is all about winning. There's the game it's not necessarily that fun to just go around and get 30 kills a game, which you rarely see. I did that once, but it was playing real shitters today. And then we ended up losing. Like, literally, my other team didn't know how to do shit. I was the only one really getting kills. I think we had probably like 40 kills, and I had 31 or 32. And we still lost. Like, the game is so much about actually winning the game that, in my opinion, it just makes it so good for a competitive esport. So it's like, why not play it if I'm big into competitive video games? And it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, if I think about it, there's no bigger esport. Counter-Strike's no. Valorant hasn't been around long enough. But if you look at Valorant, it could be. And if you look at the developers of Valorant, you know who it fucking is? Riot Games, the same people who made League of Legends. And I think that's really smart of them to make an FPS shooter because a lot of people, I think, veer towards an FPS type of game. So if you're looking at it as a franchise for video games, like a NFL league, a League of Legends league, and then you have like an NBA, that's going to be your Counter-Strike. So you're going to see a lot of different esports, I think, possibly be started by these big developers. Warzone is looking like it could be played competitive. There might be a competitive league around that. And don't even get me started on that because literally that game pops off for one fucking year and it gets all of Activision's fucking attention. Like that, the attention that game got compared to multiplayer or even multiplayer competitively, it's astronomical. And I see that game now where it's World Series of Warzone banners everywhere on the map. And it's like, dude, there was none of that for COD Champs, which has been around since Black Ops 2 and originally COD XP and MW3. And it's not been literally once advertised in Warzone, and it makes zero sense. Multiplayer is never advertised that much as Warzone is in Cold War, which again to me is just bullshit. take the last sip of my water. I'm gonna have to scrounge around another one somewhere. Just pull up a vitamin water out of my ass. But I could go back and forth with this League of Legends Warzone thing. Even Valorant, like, I could totally see myself playing Valorant a lot more. It's definitely a fun FPS game if I'm someone that likes but like, I'm looking at it from a third-person point of view, looking at it as in, let's say I never played video games before. I'm someone who just got into esports. I started watching a lot of League of Legends, Valorant, Counter-Strike, maybe Call of Duty, maybe even Rocket League. Overwatch, I'm pretty sure that shit's already dead. But if I'm going to be playing one of the big FPS ones, Valorant seems like it's going to be the most fun. Counter-Strike is from 2001. Like, that shit hasn't been updated or reskinned in literally fucking 90 years. So why would anyone want to play a fucking 90-year-old game when you have Valorant here that's brand fucking new, like not even 2 years old, if just becoming 2 years old, if not just becoming a year old, and it's already popping off on Twitch. So many viewers on Twitch are already watching and loving that game. I know that there's already a league around the game, so I'm sure that's literally going to destroy Counter-Strike. It's literally the same exact game, other than the fact it's reskinned, different characters, and each character has their own abilities, which is big when it comes to role playing and who plays a role, and especially in a franchise league. You have in NFL a linebacker, a quarterback, an offensive lineman, defensive players, offensive players. When you have positions, it's a lot easier for franchises to look for other players and to know what background players have. So if a team is looking for a good defensive or support player, then they know what defensive support players they're going to have to look for, because those defensive support players have been playing defensive support roles for the past years of the game's been out. And like, I'm literally just opening up my eyes to like the behind the scenes part of why some games do way better. And I really think the field upgrade part, and even if you bring specialists back into Call of Duty, it brings a new type of role into the game. And I'm not saying bring it back Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, BO4 wise. Maybe a little bit similar to BO4 compared to IW and BO3. But when these games come out, it's so much better. If you look at Overwatch was a big first-person shooter role game that was not like Valorant or Counter-Strike. And that game was doing well. It was doing very well. There was a league created around it pretty fast, I would say, for the release of the game and how fast the league was created. It grew pretty fast. I think that I said it died, ha ha ha, making little jokes. But, if that game actually, whatever they need to do, I don't necessarily know the downfall of the game, and I'm sure that the game was just stale or something like that. But whatever they have to do, they could probably bring that game back in the way that it first came out. But sorry for my fucking weird voice changes and going from high to low. But I'm just getting used to these podcasts again, especially talking alone. You go back from talking with one other person, it's a completely different way of talking that you really don't even notice. Like, literally talking with two people, you have to give pauses. You have to think about what to respond to of what they're saying, actually process what they're talking about. And when it's one person, I feel like I just got to keep on talking. Not necessarily fill the space, but, talk about stuff that I actually want to talk about and make sure I haven't repeated it at all. But I think I'm on to something with a good esport game needs to have these roles, as in you have a marksman type of person that can shoot from range and that is also going to not be able to build health or armor a lot throughout the game, or they're not going to have a lot to start out with. So a marks or an assassin or brawler type of player is going to be able to do a lot of damage when they get in on the marksman and they're not super far away. And then, so that's 2 roles, right? Maybe you have, let's say you have more of a mid, so you have a good armor, good attack. It's like half and half, good armor, good attack. And then you have another person that's like full attack, not really good armor, more similar to the marksman. Now we're getting a little, technical here. But, if you're going to have 4 to 5 players, you definitely need the marksman, definitely need the brawler. Obviously a support, and a support can be a good tank or a good heal. One of the two. Oh my God. Jesus. I know my basement floors aren't, my first floor floors aren't the best. You hear a lot of creaking, which is another reason I try and do these at nighttime. Is that I notice when I'm streaming, you just randomly hear these weird creaks and cracks in the fucking floor. And it's just people walking around above. And obviously, at 12 o'clock at night, no one's going to be walking around up here. I'm the only one who really stays up late. But, I got to get these podcasts out. I'm just a small-time streamer over here. And shout out to anyone that listened to all 45 minutes. You get all my love, bro. Anyone that's listening this long, you definitely got my love. I definitely appreciate you listening all the way through. And I think to wrap this up, where could I get into? I could get into some of the League of Legends competitive that I want to learn about. But there's honestly so much. I used to watch League of Legends a lot on Twitch. That used to be my favorite shit to watch on Twitch. Because I knew nothing about the game. And I would just learn so much by watching other people. I'm definitely going to wrap up the rest of some League of Legends. Because I could talk about so much different parts of the game. Now that I've started to play it a little bit, I don't give a shit who doesn't like it. If you ain't played the game, if you ain't watched it, watch a little bit of it. Like, honestly, I'm sure I can even get into watching some of the games because the games, once you understand what each role does and once you understand the basics of the game, once you understand and for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it's going to be really hard to understand, but just don't listen to the rest of the podcast, the rest of the 15 minutes, 10 minutes that it's going to go on. But, we'll probably hit an hour and wrap this shit up. But there is CSing, which is creep spawns or just minion spawns that you have to kill, which you get gold from. And once you understand the gold part of it and how the more gold each player has, the more stuff that they can buy, which then makes them do more damage, have more armor. And it's just a good part of the game. And once you understand that, you understand that, oh, wow, dude, that guy just fed 3 times. He's 0-3 to his top lane. That top lane guy's going to be real stacked and big. And what that basically means is overpowered, really, really good, hard to kill. And once you understand that part of the game, which I didn't even understand that as a level 25 in 2014. And to even like, I'm going to go on a lot of tangents here because there's so much shit that I could talk about. So let's just rewind. Let's just rewind back to kind of the beginning of the podcast where I was talking about League in the beginning. So I literally never heard of League of Legends, didn't know anything about it. And then my buddy, I won't say his name at all, but he knows who he is. He was like, yo, download this game. We'll start playing. His brother played it a lot as well. And, dude, they were literally max level, which was at the time only level 30. You could only hit level 30, which was also the level you had to hit to start playing ranked play. So I never really experienced ranked play at all because I never really hit that level 30. But I did play a lot with better players who knew what they were doing, who knew that competitive part, and who gave me a lot of advice and tips as a new player that I still even hold to this day. So, you just come, you start playing these games, you have no clue what you're doing. And even looking back on it, I had zero clue what I was doing. And I really didn't care about not getting the last hit on minions. I would just auto attack them. And more towards the end, I noticed it was really big and really important. And I noticed that a lot more now. And another thing I didn't really understand, and I knew it in the concept part of feeding, which was, oh, that guy is 0-5. It's going to be really hard for him to come back in that game and even get 5 kills. And that's not even saying he's not going to die another, 3 to 5 times. But what that is doing is if you yourself are dropping 5 times by 10, 15 minutes, that's, who knows, 5 minutes of you just sitting around waiting to respawn. You're not leveling up. You're not getting minion kills, which that means right there your abilities aren't going to be getting used as much against other people. And you're not going to be doing as much damage or having enough health or even mana as the other people because you didn't have enough gold. You weren't getting minion kills. And then to counter that even more, let's say you're top lane. If you're 0-3 in the first 10 minutes, that guy has 3 kills. That's probably almost 1,000 gold, which is a really good, decent thing that you can buy at the store. So just that part alone shows that there's so much part of the game that it takes time to understand. And so many people play a little bit of it and then they're just like, oh no, I'm not playing this game. It sucks or it's too much. And I'm just like, you gotta give it a chance. Get to level 10, get to level 15. And like there's so much stuff that I didn't even realize until like the second or third day of me playing that was new or that I just remembered out of the blue just playing randomly and playing different characters. There were so many characters as well that are, dude, there's at least 20 new characters since the last time I played. It's so crazy to see how many new characters there are. I'm pretty sure the way League of Legends works is as each new character is released, they're the most expensive player to buy. And, as time goes on, the older characters go down in price. So let's say like there's 10 mid-price people, 10 low-price people, and 10 high-price people. And 5 new people are added to the high price. 5 people are added off the mid. 5 people are then downgraded all the way to low, and so on and so forth. But, I think every person that used to be high tier cost is now literally mid tier at 4,800 compared to 6,300. Which just to me, like, there's so many people I don't know. There was already people I didn't know, and I would say I had a good understanding of the majority of the characters when I was playing 7 years ago. But now, you double almost the amount of champions, and I just have no fucking clue what these people are doing. No clue what their abilities are. Never played against them at all. Just crazy, crazy shit that I'm experiencing in League right now that I love. It makes you want to play the game. It makes you want to learn it. When there's stuff when there's stuff that's added to the game that you've never experienced, and then you have to figure out and get good at, it makes you want to play the game. And, when you, not to bring Call of Duty and League of Legends, compare them all the time, but Call of Duty just doesn't bring that anymore. They're literally bringing Modern Warfare engine, same movement, same lobby. It's just so fucking stupid. If you literally had Activision or the franchise head look at esports as a whole, what will grow the casual type of player into a competitive type of game? It's the roles. What does every big franchise league have? And maybe you could look at Counter-Strike even. You usually had a sniper. You had an entry frag. You had different roles, but not necessarily different positions in support, in healing, in marksman, in going up, what's it called? High armor brawler. And that is a little harder to do in Call of Duty with an FPS when you're trying to make things very consistent in the way things are in like rotations. But, if you look at the way Valorant did it, I would say one person has a flash, one person has a nade. You don't need to have 30 fucking stuns going into every single hill. No, you have to make sure you're breaking things as a team. And when you get that playing as a team, not only do you grow the community more because people have to play with one another, they have to play in party chat, or it's way more beneficial at least to play in party chat. I just don't understand why they. Oh, let's focus on Warzone more. When if you look at these other leagues, they are number one bigger than Warzone, and number two, they've been around so much longer. Warzone's already dying, and it's only been around since Modern Warfare. No, wait, yeah, Modern Warfare. But if you also look at Warzone, that shit wasn't released on release day of Modern Warfare. That shit was released March or April of 6 months later. But Modern Warfare might have been released in October. Could be wrong. Might have been like November 1st, sometime early November, first week, which is when it usually is. And by the way, that is for the business part of things because they need their quarter four earnings to look good. They want their big Christmas bonuses. That is the only reason, and as well as I think a lot of companies do that, is they do a lot of new releases in that November part. But you don't see League of Legends doing that a lot. Maybe they do something in game or something like that. Maybe that's when they have their finals towards the end of the year. That makes sense. But they just do so many things just to make a buck from Call of Duty, and it just astonishes me. It really does. And I don't think a lot of people transition from Call of Duty over to League very well. I think it's very rare that they do, but if they do, they could stay. Like, I had a buddy that I used to grind Call of Duty with a lot, and then he ended up playing Smite a lot. Ended up getting him Smite on his computer, grinding that shit. Never heard from him again. I swear to God, I have not heard from that kid to this day since like the beginning or end of junior and senior year. Oh my God, my throat is a dying. Ah. I might upload the podcast about midday Tuesday as well, so this might not be Tuesday morning. Hey, it might be Wednesday morning if you're listening to it. But I've been doing it in the mornings a lot. I'm gonna change it up. It is also 12 o'clock. I think I did do it a little late, but we're grinding and moving along as we do things. So who knows? Maybe uploading it midday might be a little different. Might work out a little bit better for my schedule at least. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. I think. All right, now we've only been going 47. I thought I was going 15. Maybe this will just be a short one then. Because I do gotta go to bed tomorrow. I've been sleeping in all 3 days on this weekend, and I just need some fucking sleep. I gotta wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Fucking 6 a.m. tomorrow. Hopefully you guys are doing your grind, whether it's going back to school, going to work, doing your thing. But do your fucking thing. Get on League of Legends. Don't get on COD. Please don't. If you do, let me know how it goes. Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. A lot of my socials are Hoops KJ. The Instagram for the podcast. If you want to check out that Jupiter picture, it is going to be the FeeD or the Highlights podcast. I know the username. It wasn't letting me change for like another 2 weeks, so I will get that changed, but search one of the two if you really want to. I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you can rate the podcast on wherever you're listening it to, that also helps. But we wrapping this bitch up. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Let me know your comments on the CDL. Let me know if you play League of Legends, what games you think are popping right now. Give me the fucking whip on what's going on in your life. I want to know just like you want to know about mine, which is kind of weird, but that's the world we live in nowadays. So hopefully y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you motherfuckers on the next one.